Millions dream of financial freedom, yet very few people achieve it. It's not because we're not smart enough, it's because we don't have the habits put in place. So, thinking back about 10 years ago, there were a lot of habits that I did consciously put in place, had on sticky notes, made sure that I knew to really start my wealth journey, trying to get to that debt free journey, no longer feeling stuck and knowing exactly what I had to do. And these indicators can change your financial trajectory for the rest of your life. Starting with our first one, purpose driven money goals. This is everything. When it comes to the perspective, when it comes to your view on money, really connecting the dot between building wealth and also having a very deeper purpose for what the money is for. So when you think about that, why are you working? What do you want to build wealth for? What does it look like? When we talk about a full life, when we talk about a healthy retirement, when you think of generational wealth, what is the why? If you don't understand the why, you're never going to be wealthy. Really breaking maybe the poverty cycle in your family, creating generational wealth, doing exactly what you want to. When you start thinking of the fundamental and really groundbreaking research of discovering the why, what the long term vision looks like, the reason why you're doing it, if you want to pay for your kids' school, if you want to retire to the Bahamas, if you want to live in Italy, regardless of what it is, you have to know exactly the purpose driven for those money goals, not just making money and earning more money. Because what happens to those people is they get a lot of money, and guess what? They're still unhappy. A lot of people hit the lotto. Guess what? That's right. Still completely unhappy because they don't have any purpose on why they're driving the goal. Now, the second one we talk about is financial planning. This is one of the huge things. This is what I love doing. I do financial counseling professionally. When you look at a written financial plan, less than 30% of Americans actually have a financial plan, have a budget, have anything. However, when you start surveying millionaires, a majority of millionaires have a financial plan. They really think of it more of playing a chess game versus a checkers game, making really strategic things. When you get a paycheck, what do you do with it? What does it look like? Where's the money going? Where are you spending it? This comes down to breaking it into a budget. What does a 5 year income projection look like for you? When do you want to be debt free? Do you want to be debt free? Really putting specific actions around these goals can be a game changer for the rest of your life. And this comes with education. That's the reason why watching financial videos like this on YouTube, definitely for free, can really improve your income base or really improve your education when it comes to financial information. And if you like the content that I'm putting out, please subscribe to the channel. As we get into the third one, it is daily execution. I have a plan. It sounds really crazy, but when you think about making changes, the changes are going to come over time. It's going to come with the daily things that you do. And I know the daily tasks, I know my weekly tasks. Even thinking of my investment journey that I have right now, every single Monday morning, I put $100 into Bitcoin. Yes, we're still investing into Bitcoin. Regardless of the price is $10,000, $100,000, or $1,000,000. We have a set amount that we are putting into Bitcoin every single week. In addition to that, I get payroll deductions that go into my 401k every 2 weeks when we get paid. In addition to that, I put money into my 3 ETF investment portfolio, the same every Monday morning, meaning we have a multitude of investments going on, and it really makes a big difference because I have it fully automated. I don't do anything with it. As long as I have money in my checking account, all the investments happen automatically. Now, it does take tiny steps. Really doing this consistently has built up momentum. I started with a portfolio where I had $1,000 over the course of a couple months, turned it into 10,000. Then, of course, over about a year and a half, turned it into 100,000. And now we're looking 3 years plus, and we are almost to the $200,000 mark in the portfolio just by daily execution and consistently making contributions. If the market's up, if the market's down, doesn't make a difference to me. We are investing consistently over an extended amount of time. Now, when we look at number 4, it talks about financial awareness. This is really knowing what is going to build wealth and knowing what is going to steal your wealth. When you think about things that you purchase in your life, what is the opportunity cost? If you're spending extra money at the grocery store, if you're spending it on frivolous things that you don't need, if you're buying impulse purchases, what really makes a big difference? What could you cut out of monthly expenses? Everything you're cutting out of monthly expenses can be used for 1, debt repayment, or 2, investing. When you look at millionaires, they track everything. Income streams, expense patterns, investment returns. You want to know exactly where you are financially because guess what? You're going to be the only one that does. There isn't going to be another person in the world that cares more about your financial well-being than you do and then you will. For some people, they want a complete hands-off approach. They might hire a financial advisor, a couple other people, but when it comes to the regular spending patterns, it does make a difference. Now, for me, again, this changed about 10 years ago when I was about 35. It's not so much about things that we have anymore. And that's where I feel like as I'm starting to get older, not obsessing about keeping up with the Joneses, staying up, and of course, lifestyle creep, but it makes a big difference when you're not too worried about what everybody else does because they don't know our situation. I don't know theirs inside and out, but I do offer guidance anywhere that is needed. Now, number 5, we talk about debt management. This again is something that just drives me crazy when people borrow money for things that they really don't need or things that are really going to cost them a lot. When they talk about smart leverage builds empires, foolish debt destroys your dreams. That's exactly what it's doing. When you start thinking of wealthy people, they don't carry a lot of debt. I know you might have a one-off exception to people that leverage debt and use a ton of debt. Overall, guys, debt is consuming. It's taking your time. It's taking your money. I still live in some of the philosophy that Dave Ramsey teaches. Being completely debt-free gives me the ability to keep my paycheck. I don't want to work really my 9 to 5 job and then give away 30% of my income because of all the debt payments that I have. If you're in credit card debt, if you're in a lot of debt, definitely seek financial costs or financial counseling and look at the opportunity cost. This was one of the eye-opening things is when I did my master's program, we broke down 3 months of finances. So got all the bank statements, credit card statements, everything for everyone in our class. And we broke it down mathematically. How much were you putting? What goals did you have? What dreams did you have? Where exactly was your money going? And how much of it and how much time is going into paying just interest? For some people, they were working a week and a half on a monthly basis just to pay the interest that they already had borrowed on credit cards, which is kind of crazy. Now, when it comes to debt, it is also about driving and really spending control. This is a huge thing. When it comes to really a waiting period. This again is something that I picked up with the no spend week. So there are weeks in a month where if we have 4 weeks, there's going to be 1 week or possibly even 2 weeks where I don't spend anything. Now you wonder how I can do this. I don't pay a lot in gas. I'm actually close to where I work. But when you look at value to cost ratios, when you look at things, frugality is something that is kind of taught. And I've learned it over time. Buying things that might be a little bit more expensive to get a lot more quality out of it also gives me a lot more utility where I might be replacing a pair of shoes that are cheaper every 6 months, where if I buy a more expensive pair of shoes, I might only buy them every 2 to 3 years versus every 6 months. It is really the clarity and understanding that true wealth comes from not having debt and not spending the money you have. Every single dollar that you're spending on things that you really don't need, impulse purchases, things of that nature, is money that you don't have for debt repayment and you don't have the ability to invest that money. Now, of course, when it comes to investment mastery is something. 58% of Americans own stock. But when you think of market and when you think of investing in the ETFs themselves, over 90% of millionaires are from investing. When you look at some of the biggest accounts we have, it is the 401k. This is the reason why when you get to the point of having that 15% of your income going into a 401k plan, it is huge. But when you think of investing, we don't gamble, and I don't gamble at all. Cryptocurrency, like I said, I buy at dollar cost averaging at a very low amount. I don't day trade. I don't do anything that is high risk. Even thinking of something that is very volatile, I do not do it. Even thinking of a portfolio, I have about 2 or 3% of my portfolio into cryptocurrency, but it is systematic investments like we were talking about that make a big difference in building wealth. Now, number 8, we get into growth-focused failure response. This is huge. If you fail, you learn. The only time that you actually fail or you quit is when you do quit. If you give up, guess what? It's game over. It's done. You're saying, I no longer want to do this. I no longer want to do it. It could be a very expensive mistake if you're investing in cryptocurrency. If it's a bad investment, guess what? It's a very big learning opportunity for some people. Every mistake without self-pity will make a big difference when it comes to your journey. And of course, the longer that you're around, the more you kind of learn this. The trial and error, where if I kept my investments that I had when I was 18, 19, would make a really big difference on where they were, 20, 30 years later with the investment portfolio. Every failure builds strength, and of course, becoming smarter, stronger, and more capable after every time you fall. Now, number 9, we talk about a learning mindset. For me, this is education not only through YouTube, but also through books. I still read physical books. The book I just finished recently was The Energy Bus. Very, very cool concept, very easy read, very simplified. But when you think about applying it to teams, applying it to other individuals, really made a big difference when it comes to the opportunity. And of course, a lot of these things are completely free. If you're online, YouTube, a lot of different places, you can consume a lot of content, getting and really building that education foundation. And the last one we think is the marathon mentality. Quick results may come, but don't count on them to come as quickly as you think. Remain focused, really knowing that long-term wealth is generated through time. When you think about the compounding aspect, when you think about being in the market, true wealth does not happen overnight. There are so many ways that they talk about the get rich quick scheme, XRP, cryptocurrency. You're going to make, 100x in the course of a day. It doesn't happen. It's not reliable. It's not very predictable. And of course, it could happen to someone, but chances are a majority of people who are investing and do that do lose an incredible amount of money. And I have literally seen that firsthand. We're putting a lot of money into cryptocurrency, which you hear, hot tip is going to be great, unfortunately is not. So guys, that's going to do it for today's video. 10 winning habits that wealthy people never overlook and don't overuse. But let me know in the comments what you guys think. And as always, thank you guys for watching.